Good evening. Welcome to our Educators Virtual Table. Tonight we're going to be discussing reading challenges. I'm your co-host, Patrice Barrett, a reading interventionist.
And I'm Darlene Hamilton, an educator, mother, and a lifelong learner.
Thanks for joining us tonight, Darlene. Tonight we want to be talking about a few questions. Our first question is, what is nonsense words?
Nonsense words are letters or graphemes that are combined to see if a student can pronounce them rather than memorize by memory. Students who are unable to do so need help in the phonological processing of words.
I totally agree with you, Darlene, and we definitely need to use nonsense words in the classroom as educators and parents so that our kids get used to manipulating certain sounds out of their mouth. And that all the words in the English language cannot be memorized. Just like you said, they need to be able to have a command of those specific sounds and graphemes. Awesome. Now, Darlene, what is dyslexia and when did you first hear about it?
So the word dyslexia, if you break that word up into its two components, dy means abnormal. Lexi means words. So dyslexia is just a problem with words. That's a big taboo word, but it doesn't have to be. If we can just understand that it's a problem with words, and there's 5 components to reading, so they could be a component with any of those 5 components could be a problem for people. And I first heard about it when my son was in first grade. He came home saying that he was not as bright as his sister because he wasn't getting the scores that his sister was getting, who was 3 years older and was on the honor roll. He was seen by a neuropsychologist. His precocious vocabulary rated him high, but his academic standing, based on the years that he was in the school, should have been higher. And that discrepancy gave him the diagnosis of both dyslexia and ADHD.
Thank you, Darlene, for clearing up some misconceptions about dyslexia, because the common citizen might think dyslexia is limited to reading letters backwards. And however, like you said, it could hit on any of the 5 components of reading. So that is a very good explanation. What can educators do to help those who struggle from a spelling and writing standpoint?
That's a wonderful question, Patrice. If as an educator, if you notice that students are spelling, especially past the 3rd grade level, by 3rd grade, we're not dealing with phonological processing anymore. So by 3rd grade, we should have helped those students who are having problems. If you see students who are struggling with spelling, they're still not have a command of the phonological processing. So we can help them, get them reading tutor, reading specialists, or sit down one-on-one and kind of play with the English language with them.
That's some very good information. English is actually a difficult language. And so as readers, they have to process the language. They have to be aware of their reading skills and metacognition. You brought up a lot of good points tonight, Darlene. As a matter of fact, another way students can be supported is using assistive technology.
Yes.
And we're going to show some slides tonight that represent the different types of assistive technology that can make reading more accessible for all learners. Thanks so much for coming on tonight, Darlene.
Thanks, Patrice, and we should have this conversation again.
I agree. Well, everybody, stay tuned for our next few slides.
Assistive technology in the form of software features can be used to help people who struggle with reading. Some examples include special fonts, text-to-speech, and word prediction. Let's take a look at an example of a special font that is designed to help people with dyslexia. This is the e-reader app called Sora, and in this app, you have a few different options for how the text appears. We can make the text larger, change the contrast, and also change the font. In this case, I'm changing it to Open Dyslexic. Some readers find this font easier to read. The key features of the font are that the bottoms are a little more weighted so that readers can get a better, quicker idea of which is the top and which is the bottom of the letters.